So the main event, and the reason why it was the main event was because they're doing the shocking conclusion. But boy, if I'd have had my druthers, I'd have druther not gone on after Cena and Logan Paul just because the crowd was so fucking tired from jumping up and down and screaming. They still managed to sing and chant more, but it was not to the level of the Cena business. A four-way for the other world title between Jey Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk, and Seth Franklin Rollins. And boy, this was a big building for old Jey Uso's entrance, wasn't it? And the fans needed no encouragement to wave and sing and yeet. Goddamn, can you imagine what if those people were jumping and waving and yeeting and doing all that stuff all night? They were sweating, as Chris Candido would say. They probably stunk like a man eating Fremunda cheese in a septic tank of a slaughterhouse by the time they got out of there. Whew. It didn't used to be that you had to blow yourself up to be a member of the audience.
Imagine how over Bruno would have been if he had come out dancing in the crowd with the fans.
Holy shit, yeah, they'd have had to give the fans oxygen. They'd have been so blown up. Anyway, this was also the first CM Punk match in France. Now, that would be moderately surprising, maybe not as surprising as Cena, but still, two of the biggest stars of the modern era, first time they've been to France. How come France kept getting fucked around?
Vince hates France.
They gave us the fry. They gave us the fry. The least that we could do is give them our wrestling champions.
Vince hates fries.
Well, apparently Vince has changed his opinions about a number of things since I knew him. So, you know what? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe he doesn't want anybody to sue. He's trying to arbitrate, doesn't want to go to Discovery because she's got footage of him eating French fries.
All right, I don't know about that.
And a big old cheeseburger.
I don't know about that, but let's go to yet another four-way match.
He used to look at me when I would be dipping my big old double-breaded chicken fingers in a big old cup of ranch dressing. He would look at me like I was the one pooping on somebody's head. How the worm has turned. So anyway, Braun Breaker and Braun Breaker?
Braun Breaker?
Braun Breaker?
That's one of my toys, Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker and Bronson Red have been.
I got to shit on your head.
Yes. I want to shit on your head, Bronson Red.
All right, back to Bronson Red and Braun Breaker. In a match? But they weren't in this match. They gone.
Yes, no. I'm trying to tell you, I was clearing my throat there because she tickled me. Braun Breaker and Breaker and Bronson Red have been booted out of the arena. It's what's happened. They're not there anymore. And Paul is in the hospital from getting choked out by Roman Reigns in the first match. That's what the announcers are saying. So Seth he's all by his lonesome. And he's one heel against three baby faces. That might make you sympathetic sometimes, but the baby faces, they're kind of mad at each other too. And that will come out, through the course of the match. So, yeah, no matter how good everybody is or isn't in the match, and most of the people in the match are very good, it's a four-way. And I'm saying it's just the laziest, most repetitive shit. I'm not saying the guys are being lazy. I'm saying the creative team, the bookers are lazy. Because they just do this. And you can't tell a story throughout this thing that's uninterrupted. You can tell a story between two people and it comes out at the end or whatever. But guys just have to disappear for long stretches of time while other guys get their shit in. It's unnatural. It interrupts the flow of an athletic contest. And you see it so often. This was a better one. Some really stink and most are just blah. But I mean, I can give you a description. Everybody did everything at some point. They hit all their shit. They did everything they were supposed to. It's a four-way. And finally, they had wiped out Punk when he took a bump off the apron onto a table that cracked, but it didn't break. But then LA Knight tried to do an elbow drop on Seth off the top rope on the announce desk, and Seth moved, and LA Knight went through the desk. And then Seth and Uso went back and forth forever, and Seth had him, but Punk came back in then and made the save. And then Punk hit the go-to-sleep on Uso and covered him, but Seth stomped Punk and got a 2 count. That was a nice false finish. But then Seth stomped LA Knight and Uso on the floor to keep them down a little while longer. While he got a chair, brought it in the ring, set it up, put Punk's head in through the chair. Brian, even if you're dazed, if like a hand grenade goes off next to your head, wouldn't you be able to pull your head out of a fucking chair?
Yeah, and you know what? The whole time I'm thinking, I just saw a clip of these two guys, Rollins and Punk, going over their WrestleMania match on Unreal. They thought all this was a good idea. They talked all this through and thought, yeah, this is the way we should go.
Yeah, that's another thing. Seeing them talking about it kind of shits all over the post toasties. But anyway, he goes for the stomp on the chair, but Punk moved. Seth stomped the chair. Punk hit a go-to-sleep. Went for the second go-to-sleep, had him up, and a black ninja came into the ring, hoodie and all wrapped up, and hit Punk in the balls right in front of the referee because it's no disqualification. And then took the hood off, and it was Becky Lynch. It was Becky, that no good Jezebel. And then Seth hit the stomp, cover, 1, 2, 3. Now, there were some good things about this, but again, here is... You can't do shit like that in front of the referee and expect it to get heat on the talent and make the point you're trying to make. Because the first thing that the fan does, even subliminally, is sit there and look at, well, that fucking referee ain't doing a goddamn thing. Or if they say, well, the referee can't do anything because it's no DQ, then it's the promotion's fault. That's why this was not done until the modern age of wrestling, where then it became immaterial whether you had any heat or sold any tickets because they're just going to pay you from the networks. But if you want to do this right, even if it's no DQ, when there's interference to that level that decides the match in favor of the heel over the babyface, distract the referee in a meaningful and credible way. You don't have to bump him and he'd be down for 7 minutes. Don't let him fucking see it. But now that I've said that, this is brilliant with him and Becky. And we'll get to what they did on Raw in just a moment. But I've said this before, and a lot of the fans, maybe they still don't get it. Yes, they've had some women's main events in the WWE. And a few of them deserved it, and other ones were just there because they didn't want people to be mad at them for not being fair. But for the majority of the women, the fans would see it as an insult, and probably some of these women would too, if instead of being a woman wrestler on the middle of the card, even in the women's title match, if you're a part of the package with one of the main event guys, then you're guaranteed to be figured into the main event of WrestleMania, or the main event of one of the main events of WrestleMania, or main event of 2 nights SummerSlam, or main event of the Royal Rumble, or whatever, if you're a package with a main event guy. And that would not only be preferable, but also would extend your career if you can be in bigger matches and take fewer bumps. And you're still a featured part of the fucking program, an even bigger featured part of the program, rather than just wrestling on the middle. So I love the pairing, and my feelings wouldn't be hurt if they would save Heyman's appearances for Braun and Reed and let Becky, for the most part, come out with Seth. And we've established that Becky can take better bumps than Paul. So I'm just saying I like that the pairing, but it was kind of just a cheap way to get out of it fucking finish.
Yeah, and I'll save a lot of my thoughts about the intergender feud, as it looks like it will be, for when we talk about Raw. Obviously, it was her as soon as she got in a ring. It was clear that it wasn't a guy, and it didn't take too long to figure out, oh, that's clearly Becky Lynch.
Well, yeah, she's 110 pounds.
Do you think in this day and age, and with there being so many wrestling couples, especially in this company, but it's everywhere. It's all over. It's in the indies. It's in AEW. It's here. I don't know about what goes on in New Japan. But do you think it's smart to acknowledge it, lean into it, to use it? If everyone knows these two are a couple, if when they're not on wrestling, they're on red carpets together. We saw them at the Kentucky Derby together on TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If it's a thing that's real and they're not hiding it, is it a smart thing to lean into it?
Yes. I mean, part of the reason why this works is because everybody knows that they're really together. They've already been together. Now, that's not to say that they couldn't have done this same thing if they weren't really a real life couple. They could have done this same thing on television. And I think the two of them together, because they can talk and they got chemistry, whatever, that would work, whether they were a real couple or not. But it adds a lot to this that everybody has already known that they were together. Forever together. So yeah, use that.
Well, that was WWE's Clash in Paris. And of course, Jim, Paris is a long ways away. And although WWE will be remaining in Europe for a little while and returning to it not too long after that, there's a lot of time on the airplane to sit and look out the window and think about things. Maybe listen to some music while you're thinking about these things. Maybe listen to your favorite podcast while thinking about things on this airplane.
While thinking about things, doing a lot of thinking. I always tried not to think on planes, because if I thought on planes, I would be thinking about where the fuck I was at, and then I would be screaming and clawing at the fucking upholstery.
Well, maybe you need some good music to get you to stop thinking about things and just lose yourself in the groove, get down with the boogie. Jim, we have a great deal from our friends at Raycon for the listeners.
Yes, you do. And you don't get down with the boogie. You blame it on the boogie. And you get down tonight, and then you put on your boogie shoes. And I'd like to put on my boogie shoes and boogie with Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classic. They have brought back the classics. You know what? I guess the classics were gone. I wasn't aware that we were classics deprived, but that's what they're saying, because people were asking for it to come back. So now the latest version of Raycon's Everyday Earbuds Classic now features the active noise cancellation, as well as all of the fine details and the good things about the fine everyday earbuds, the 8 hours of playtime, 32-hour battery life, the fact that they never have to leave your ear. You can plug these in now to charge them up without taking them out of your head. They've got a cord.
I don't know that. No.
You stick one into this cord up your ass.
Again, there's no cord. This is not Raycon that Jim is speaking about. He's speaking about Brand X. But of course, Raycon, the earbuds that charge the old-fashioned way, the classic way.
That was a Triple H brand, actually, that you shoved the cord in your ass and plugged it in the wall. It said Triple X across it.
Raycon.
I'm thinking of just Raycon.
Raycon, Jim.
Their audio quality rivals all the big audio brands that you know and love at half the price.
Yeah.
That means that you can buy 2 pair for the same thing and they'll be twice as loud. And all other kinds of math. Don't believe me? Check out their tens of thousands of 5-star reviews on the interwebs. If you have 10,000 5-star reviews, you got 50,000 stars. So right there, they're ahead of Uncle Dave. And right now, free shipping on every pair of Raycon earbuds. And it's amazing because I know people are going to say, well, that's not a lot of money. They're not spending a lot because the earbuds are very light. It doesn't cost a lot to ship them. I'll have you know that to protect these earbuds, they ship them in their own pair of ears. So you're going to get not only a pair of earbuds, but a pair of ears. Now, they don't tell you whose ears they are.
This is ridiculous. They give you your own box. It comes in a box, comes nicely packed.
When you donate these things to like a medical laboratory, there's no names attached. It's a very anonymous situation. So you don't know what the name was of the guy whose ears you're getting. Could be a girl. But you're going to get the ears and the earbuds. You're not getting any
ears. Will you stop saying these things? There will be no ears. You'll be getting the earbuds, the classic, Raycon Classic. Yes.
Yes, it shows you how to put them in. See, it's like a visual aid. So that way you don't have to experiment on yourself. It's to try to help people. Right now, folks, go to Buy Raycon, BUYRAYCON, buyraycon.com/JCE. You're going to get 20% off the fan favorite Everyday Earbuds Classic. 20% off at buyraycon.com/JCE. You list of music, you can list of podcasts, you can do a lot of deep thinking, and then play with those ears. And sometimes you've seen the big elephant ear sandwiches. It's just the problem they're finding is finding buns that size.
Once again, not all of this necessarily has to deal with Raycon, the great earbuds, a great deal for the listeners. Buyraycon.com/JCE. We love them over here. I know they love them in Castle Cornette. Once again, buyraycon.com.